Hey, Mogul Fam, welcome back to Mogul Talk with Darcel Laurie, where success is just a byproduct of who we are. It's your girl, Darcel, your host, where every week I'll be bringing you a Mogul Minute of inspiration, new topics, and surprise guests. Stay tuned. Peace. It's time for our Mogul Minute. Can I get a drum roll, please? And today's quote is: a person should never invest in a relationship they wouldn't want their children in. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. A person should never invest in a relationship they wouldn't want their children in. See, I'm a firm believer, and we're going to have a guest today, Jordan Isreal, who's going to talk about his new book, right? Love Almost Kills Me. And when I think about love and when I think about relationships, we have to also think about if we are in a healthy relationship. You know, a lot of times we end up in toxic relationships, myself included, right? And so sometimes you have to also be mindful of, is this something I would, if I were to have children, or if you already have children, is this something you would want them to be in? Would you advise them? Would you give them the advice to be in this type of relationship? If it is not, then that is a clear indicator that that's not the relationship for you. I'm a firm believer in one, seeking out therapy, right? Getting the right accountability, getting the right tribe around you that can motivate you, help you to be in a healthy space and healing those wounds, right? And so that you can be a whole person, and whole person attracts whole person, so that you could be in a healthy relationship and be able to thrive and succeed. And that was your Mogul Minute of Inspiration. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Mogul Talk with Darcel Laurie. It's your girl, Darcel, and we are back for another episode, and we have a special guest, Jordan Isreal, and we just have to we just got to chop it up with him, and he's doing so many amazing things. But let me tell you just kind of a running list of what he's accomplished. Jordan Isreal is a multifaceted creative professional with a passion for content creation. As an author, entrepreneur, and event curator, Jordan has established himself as a creative force to be reckoned with in the entertainment industry. Jordan earned a degree in digital film and video production from the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, where he honed his skills as a visual storyteller. Since then, he has utilized his talents to create compelling content across a variety of mediums, including film, television, and digital media. Jordan's entrepreneurial spirit has led him to found several successful ventures, including a content creation agency and production company. He has also partnered with major brands and organizations to create a range of events, from art shows to tech conferences. One of Jordan's notable accomplishments includes the creation of an art show sponsored by Dr. Martens. The event showcased the work of up and coming artists and garnered critical acclaim for its innovative approach to art curation. Additionally, Jordan partnered with Foresight Ventures to curate an event centered around LA Tech Week at Soho Warehouse in Los Angeles, California, one of my favorite places to go. The event brought together some of the brightest minds in technology and innovation and served as a platform for networking and collaboration. Jordan's dedication to the creative process is evident in all of his endeavors, and he continues to push the boundaries of what is possible in the world of content creation. Let me just tell you, he also is a friend of mine. We've also worked together on projects. This man, I am so, so proud of, and I'm just honored to have Jordan on my show. Just talking about all the amazing things that he's done. We already see he's well equipped, and I just can't wait to get into it. So, Jordan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much.
You're
And
so
I'm
welcome.
I'm definitely happy to see that you're still in this space and you're doing what you love. So that's important.
Yes, and I think for those who don't know, like Jordan was like a part of like me launching into journalism and being my person behind the scenes and really pushing me and motivating me and believing in me. So I'm just like I'm happy for this full circle moment that we get to
Definitely full
have
circle.
and just like highlight your amazing accomplishments.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And like you said, like the full circle moment it is. I remember running around with you, grabbing content, and now here we are. Like, it's amazing.
This is amazing. Yes. So thank you again. So Mogul Fam, we're gonna get into how you can follow Jordan, but first we want to get into this book that you have. Okay, you are an author. That's one of the things that wasn't in your bio yet. But we're gonna introduce you now as the author, Jordan Israel, and I'm just so proud of you. Like I'm so
Thank
proud
you.
of you. Can you tell us like the title of your book and how did you come up with this title? Because this title got me. Like I was like, "Ooh, what's this book about?"
So it's called Love Almost Killed Me. I'm trying to do a better job. I told myself going into this new year I'm gonna like really hone in on the author title and really,
Mm-hmm.
take that and run with it because it's not often you're able to create a body of work and put it out to the masses this way. So I'm definitely gonna ride this wave of being an author. But the Love Almost Killed Me title, I came up with the title following my breakup. I was
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship for like 2.5 years, and I was going back and forth trying to decide what I wanted to focus on during that time. And my passion was really into doing things that would fulfill myself. So I wanted to really just like, you know, be honest, and be raw. And the title kind of just stuck once I was writing everything down, like different titles for the book. I was like, you know what, love almost killed me. And then I just said, I can relate to that. Like, it's something that everybody probably can relate to. So I just like, I'm gonna just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that title is so catchy. Like it just hooks you because you're like, oh my gosh, what is this about? And like you said, a lot of people like myself can relate to the title alone. Like love, love be doing its thing sometimes,
It does.
It
It does.
sometimes feels like it's trying to take you out of here, but we're going to get into like what healthy love looks like and relationships and things like that. But what I know you said that, the title of the book was inspired, and you writing the book was inspired by your breakup. What made you feel like, people just usually just go through breakups, they have their little song list, their little playlist that they're singing during their breakup moment. But what made
Yeah.
you think like I need to write a book, you know?
Just realizing that I had a next level that I needed to get to. Um, and I had huge success with my first novel, Clout: A Dangerous Drug. And with me going through the relationship situation, I felt that this was needed for me to express myself and to challenge myself as an author. It's like you put out one book, it's like, okay, cool. But like when you sit down and you ask yourself, can I do it again? It's like, all right, I'm gonna challenge myself to write another one because it's like the first one I'm like, all right, that was to establish myself as an author, but now I'm really
Mm-hmm.
putting my foot in the sand and saying, this is my body of work and I'm going to continue to keep on going.
Now, what can you tell us a little bit more about the book? Like, what's it about?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So honestly, the book is about a guy who meets a girl, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And he meets a woman, he falls for her, but then he happens to run into somebody from his past. And,
Ooh.
you know, we have situations that in life, when you go into life, a lot of stuff you don't heal all the way from, or a lot of doors you don't close before you open a new one. So it's kind of like this guy is in a situation where now he's torn between two women and it gets kind of tricky. So in a situation, I don't want to give the story away too much. Um, you know, love almost kills him, you know?
Wow. Yeah, well, I mean, if you had two women that you're deciding between.
It's not. It's let me. It's not like that though. It's kind of like sometimes it could get like a situation where you have somebody that's just not over you. They always say a woman scoring is the most dangerous thing. So it's not all the time that you could think that it's over on your end, but you got to communicate it um
That's
the
true.
right way. You got to
That's
end things
true.
the right way.
That is true. And it's funny because like you said, communication is key. That's one of the biggest things that they say when it comes to like relationships, right? And if you do not communicate properly, that it's over, or there's this line in the sands, the person can feel like, okay, well, I'm still interested, or feel led on, or I mean, I feel like we've all, man or woman, we've all been in that situation. So this sounds like a really interesting
100%.
bite. Like this sounds like an interesting book. Like I can't
Yeah, it's
wait.
spicy. It's spicy for sure. Like it's a nice spicy read.
Yeah. Well, the title says, "Did love almost kill you?" So you don't have to say what, out of all your relationships that you have experienced, it doesn't have to be one specific relationship. Have you experienced that, like where love almost killed you? And can you elaborate a little bit?
Absolutely. So, I'm gonna just be full out transparent.
Yeah. You
I
keep it real
was,
on Mogul Talk, so.
yeah. No, I was in a relationship, like I said, and prior to this relationship, I was, I have a daughter. My daughter is now 6 years old. So, prior to the relationship that I just got out of, my main focus was, you know, just my daughter. And once you realize that you can't really, you don't want to, I didn't want to go backwards in the sense of like me and her mom, we had like a relationship, and we butted heads because we were so young trying to figure out this whole parenting thing.
Co-parenting.
Yeah, so when I moved to LA, she's still in Philadelphia. So when I moved to LA, this was in 20, I want to say like 2018, 2019. I was like, all right, I'm going to go move to LA. My daughter is 1 years old, and I'm like, all right, let's figure out how to get you here. Because I need my family with me if I'm going to be on this journey. I want you guys here with me. So the whole time I'm here, I'm just trying to figure out, everything in terms of how I can get them here working, the prices, because LA is expensive.
Yes, it
So
is.
at the time, this is how crazy it was and how much I put on my shoulders, but like responsibility wise. At the time, I'm paying for her phone bill, so I'm noticing like, all right, like why is she not answering my calls? Like it's a time difference, but I know she's up right now because I told her what
Mm-hmm.
time I get off of work, etc. So you go searching for things, you will find it. So
So y'all were still in a relationship.
yeah, we
Y'all were
were
doing
like
long
still,
distance. Okay.
yeah, when I had moved, we were still in a relationship. So it was like this was like I said, 2018, 2019. So I was like, head over heels still trying to figure out how to keep my family together. Being a parent and everything. So like I said, I checked the phone call log because you can do so when you
Mm-hmm.
have like the whole little you paying for the phone bill. You could check the call log. So I kept
Right.
noticing it was a number that kept popping up, and I'm like, all right. So I put my phone next to the caller. I'm like, I'm calling at this same time, and you're not answering. So now I see this number here. So it's one of those things as a man where your ego. We have ego, men. We have
Yeah,
ego.
that's
So
true.
my ego, my blood was boiling. I'm like, what in the world? What is going on? Da-da-da-da-da. And come to find out, like she was seeing somebody else. I guess the long
Wow.
distance thing couldn't really like, not everybody's built for a long distance
That's true.
relationship. So, I came home one day, pulled up to her house, and I'm there, we're talking, and the guy pulls right up to the crib, like knocks on the door, super super
Wow.
bold, and I'm like, it just hit me right in the face, and that's when I realized I was like, LA probably is just best for me to just be there right now. Like it's probably just best for me to be out in LA and just
Yeah.
focus on myself. There's no bad blood. I just want to be, a dad to my daughter. Whatever you got going on, go ahead, you got it. I ain't mad at it. And I just kind of left it at that and haven't looked back since. We still on the co-parenting journey. Everything is good and kosher now, but coming to that realization, like sometimes when we're committing to people, like my what I want and what I'm focused on might not be the same thing that you want, and that's okay. But we have to learn how to communicate. So that almost took me out because I was really like, if I wasn't strong mentally like I am now, like to this day, I probably would have been like, no, I'm gonna fight over you because I love you. We have a
Right.
child, but I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not about
Right.
to just throw everything away for that.
Right. So you feel like love's almost killed you, like emotionally, like the heartbreak and
Yeah,
the betrayal, and all that type of stuff.
because a lot of people aren't built for the like that reality. Like a
Mhm.
lot of times, like with men, like I said, with our egos, you're not built for how to handle a situation like when the person you want to be with and you just procreated with, like you're
Mhm.
not ready for the realness of it. Like, all right, I'm
Right.
away.
Right.
So it's like, all right, me being away, you probably are vulnerable. You probably want somebody to talk to that's there and
Mhm.
somebody might be there. And we're young. So it's like
Yeah.
being 22, 23, like you want to still have fun. I get it,
Right.
but I
But
feel
at
like
least being
that
able
in
to
itself.
communicate that, instead of you
Exactly.
feeling like there's something and there's really, you're not on the same page. And I think that's where like a lot of relationships go wrong, is where, I mean, people are not on the same page, and that's why you have to communicate and communicate often, about expectations, about needs. As someone, because we keep it real, I'm gonna go talk with Darcel Lari. As someone who is divorced, it was, I had to love, like your title like really took me, like, because like love almost killed me,
Yeah.
whether it was emotionally, mentally, and like you said, thank God that we're like strong people, because some people don't make it out of heartbreak. Like some people, really, when you feel betrayed, when you feel like you're not on the same page, or when you feel like you're putting in more effort than somebody else, that really could take a toll on people. People do all kind of crazy things, whether to themselves or whether to other people, when you're heartbroken. And
A hundred
so
percent.
it's so important. For one, I'm a firm believer in therapy. Like, did you decide to do therapy? Because I signed myself right on up for therapy. How did you get over it?
I'm still in therapy to this day.
Same.
Like therapy, if without therapy, because not only with like the relationship situations, like just in life in general, like, coming from, the East Coast, Philadelphia, that Jersey area as well, is like,
Mhm.
you know, and then, experiencing life other places, like you have places here in Los Angeles that are beautiful, but then you also have like the urban communities where, we can't, violence is all around us. You can't escape it, right?
Right.
So it's like when we grow up in these environments, we lose people so young at a young age, and a lot of people are learning to, fend for themselves and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
like you need to be able to heal properly, and that comes by talking to people and not bottling it up. So definitely therapy. Therapy helped me so much because I for a long time was just like after that situation, like my parents are still together. My parents been high school
Mhm.
sweethearts. So like I felt like I let them down. I'm like, you know what? I feel like I let my parents down because here I am having a baby and not being with the mom. So I'm like,
Right.
parents when they're old school, they look at that like, y'all not supposed to shack up
Right.
together until you
Mhm.
married. Oh, you having a baby? Well, you know how it goes.
Mhm.
So
I know
it's
how it
just
goes.
yeah. So it's just like with things like that, you just as a young man and on your journey, you definitely have to seek some type of counseling, therapy, whatever it's going to take to get those emotions out and move forward properly.
Yeah, and I love that you say that as a black man, because in the black and brown community, I think it's now getting more cooler to go to therapy. Like I feel like this up and coming generation is now making it more normalized, but for so long, and especially like our parents' generation, it wasn't normalized to go to therapy. It's like whatever happens in the house stays in the house. And it's like, no, you should be able to talk about your feelings. You should be able to talk about what you're going through. I mean, that transition from East Coast to West Coast, that's a huge transition. So, like you said, going to therapy, not just for relationships, but also for transitions in life, also just to make sure that you're a whole, healthy person. And like you said, I'm still in therapy as well, because I'm like, look, I want to be healthy and whole. So when I'm dating again and with the next person, that I feel like I'm bringing less baggage, to the table, but I'm bringing more of a whole version of Darcel. So I commend you, especially as a black man, going to therapy, because so many people don't. And did you have a squad? Like I had a squad that helped me through heartbreak. Did you have like a tight circle that you kind of vented to, or did you feel like you had to go through it alone?
So I always talk to my parents. My
Mm-hmm.
parents are like they know every single thing about me because
That's
God forbid anything
amazing.
happens to me, I don't want anybody to give them like they hear something like, no, Jordan wasn't. No, my parents know. Okay,
That's
so
good.
I talk to my parents about everything, and then also I have my best friend. My best friend, he just moved recently, probably about like a month ago, but he's the one I came out here and I moved in with, and like he's married now. He has his kids. He's
Nice.
good. So like when I talk to him, it's more about like how did you know your wife was the one for you? How did you know like
Mm-hmm.
how you were juggling working and coming home and being a husband and a father? Like, and I always kept people around me that were older than me that I could learn from. Like I don't want like people my age necessarily to just talk to all the time because a lot of people my age aren't married or they don't understand some of the things that I'm dealing with, like being a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
being like an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur is his own entity. Yeah. Not everybody understands that.
Yeah, they can't relate. They can't relate to like some of the things that we have to go through and still keep our head on straight to conduct business the right way. So I feel like my circle has been like a lot of mentorship. Like the guy that owns the publishing company that I go through my book with, his name is Just Mike the Poet. He's been
Oh,
someone
just
that I've
like,
been talking
okay,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's been someone that I've been talking to, and he's helped me tremendously. Like I probably would say without him, these books probably wouldn't have happened because when I
Yeah.
told him the idea of me being an author, he just encouraged it full out, and it was about like expressing myself, and that was a part of the healing process because I would write in my journal every day, like the therapy. So
Same.
it kind of worked itself out. So I definitely had some people around me that were great mentors and just helped me stay on the right path and express myself.
Yeah, that's amazing because I feel like, with when you're experiencing relationships, I feel like especially when you're trying to be intentional, right? Like you said, you're trying to have a family, a tight knit family, and I think there's societal pressures to that, as you were mentioning, like not only from parents and not wanting to disappoint them, especially having your parents married, still married to this day, which is a blessing. But I think also there's societal pressures around that, and so having different people, like you said, who are older, wiser, that can be able to speak into the space that you want to be in one day, which I'm assuming it sounds like married, with kids, and having a blended family and all that. So I think having those mentors or those close friends who are already there and in those spaces, and your parents are great examples, because marriage is not for the faint at heart. It's definitely, it's communication, and making sure that there's two whole people going into a relationship and not just someone who's trying to figure themselves out, because that's not going to work in marriage.
Right,
So making
right,
sure both of you are two people who are working on each other, on themselves. And
100%.
yeah, so okay, so we talked about your book, we talked about what it's about, and what advice now, so having some, relationship experience and going through what you have gone through, like you said, your title of your book, Love Almost Killed You, right?
Hmm.
Is there any advice that you would give to somebody else, whether it's black men or just people in general or men in general? Like, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about a relationship or going through something similar? What's some
Yeah.
advice that you would give to them?
Um, Probably when it comes to relationships, like just really dating one another and creating those boundaries and having those uncomfortable conversations and being passionate
Mm-hmm.
and being honest. Our generation, like my generation, um, like I feel like we glamorize the wrong things when it comes to what
Yes.
a relationship is supposed to be. So it's kind of like breaking out of that mind frame of what social media intends for a relationship to be, and just being honest with one another. Because, like, you ask somebody today, like, "Hey, what is dating?" And somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's just going out to eat, and a guy pays for this, and he does that." And but it's like dating to me has changed. Like it evolved to something way more
Mm-hmm.
different. It's like being my friend. Like I want to actually grow to
That
like the person
part.
that I'm with. Like I don't want to be with somebody and then 5, 6 years from now, like say we get married and I never liked you. Like
Come
we're just
on.
married. So it's like I wanna like
Yes.
you gotta just actually like the person. Take your time with them, date, be honest, and let them know what it is as well. Like, a lot of people are afraid to. You know what? I am talking to somebody else right now that has my attention, but you don't want to find out later on down the road. So just being honest and being
Be
intentional.
honest. Yes. Snaps for that, because kudos to you for just realizing that. Like, relationships are not just dates, and we're gonna get into what's going viral, but what people think dating is. But I love that you have discovered that, like, no, actually dating is finding your best friend, because if you're gonna get married, you have to like that person, not just love that person. You have to actually like them, because there's
Right,
gonna be certain days in marriage, in relationships, they're gonna get on your last nerve, and you need to still feel like, oh no, that's still my friend though. Like, right?
right,
I love you, but you still my friend. I may not like you right now, but that's still my friend. And I'm not going to disrespect my friend. I'm going to be
right.
loyal to my friend. So I think that type of dynamic is so, so important. And you kind of threw me a little layup, because what's gone viral when we talk about dating is this list that has been circulating social media on this. I don't know who created it. I don't know if it's a man, a woman, a collaboration. I don't know if it's Gen Z. I definitely don't think it's millennials, but I don't know. But when they talk about this list of where to go on a first date, and it felt like there's like nowhere to go on a first date, because you can't go to church, you can't go, you can't go to the Waffle House, you can't go to Cheesecake Factory, which I was highly offended because I love
Yeah, I saw
Cheesecake
that.
Factory, and then you can't go to ice cream dates, coffee dates. I'm like, so where can you go? So what's your thoughts on this list that has gone viral, on people really, like, I feel like saying that you can't practically go anywhere unless it's a 5-star restaurant.
Again, that goes back to what these social media heads think. Like they think that you have to spend $400, $500 on a first date. That's how you go broke. I didn't see
Facts.
anything wrong. I didn't see anything wrong with Cheesecake Factory
I
or
love
Red Lobster.
cheesecake.
Like
Facts.
I thought that was cool. Happy hour there, you can get a nice little bang for your buck and
Come
have a great
on.
conversation. So I
Yes.
didn't find nothing wrong with that. But again, like everybody has what they want to consider to be like appropriate these days,
Mhm.
and that's what makes dating so difficult. And half of
Mhm.
the reason why I'm still single is just because I fell along those lines. Like when I saw that first date list, I'm like, wow, like I never took any of my first dates here. I need to. I should have.
Right.
Like I took them to Katana. We went to Katana. We went. We, we went. We went to Roof Chris. Like I shouldn't have
Right.
did all of that. Like they didn't deserve that. And I had people tell me that all the time. They were like, "Yo, man, what are you
I feel
doing?"
like
To the
that's a I feel like that's Roof Chris is a second date. Like, if they really
I'm
pass the
tripping.
first dates, like they have to pass the first date test. And if they pass the first date and y'all vibe and y'all really like each other, then okay, the second date, I got you. Like, we stepping it up. But at least I think people are like undermining good conversation. Like, all you
Yeah, and
need
I,
is good
I blame
company.
us men. I blame us men for this too. Like I take full responsibility because like so many times people like I told you as men we have egos. So I feel
That's
like
true.
sometimes like we could mess the whole perception of what reality really is by how we
That's
approach
true.
things. So like I'm at fault for that. Like I'm guilty. This is me admitting it. Like
Mhm.
on your
Mhm.
podcast, I'm guilty of it because there's a lot of people like I said that didn't
Mhm.
deserve katana. And if anybody that's listening doesn't know what katana is, like you come to LA, you go to Katana, they got the best lamb chops in the city, like
Come on,
the
lamb chops.
sushi, all of that. So it's like you easily spending 150 to 200, $300
Right.
just on one, what I mean, one sit down. So definitely, I messed the game up because I'm pretty sure every girl after that was like, "Nah, I'm not going to Cheesecake
Yeah,
Factory."
you probably had
Like,
them spoiled. They're like, hold up, Jordan like took me here,
yeah,
so
I'm the blame.
any
I'm the
other
blame for
guy
that.
was messing up already. Like, he didn't have a chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the blame.
Well, I think a lot of people in today's society want Instagrammable moments versus real relationships.
That's the one.
And
That's
I'm
the one.
like, we need to have we need to bring real relationships back, sustainable, lasting relationships back, and not just Instagrammable moments. Okay? Because
That's the one.
they don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory, because if they go to Roof Chris, they can, like, do a little reel, do a little like, this is where he took me. But it's about like the relationship that you're building versus the Instagrammable moment.
Right.
So I think that's important.
That was
but
real.
well, like you said, egos get in the way. So you're not, I'm pretty sure you're not the only guy who's guilty of it. Um, But I love, love, love one having you on the podcast. I love talking about, love almost killed you. And I feel like we can't leave this episode. We're definitely gonna find out where can we get the book, where can we find you. But I feel like we also can't with the title alone, when I think about love almost killed me, for some people, it actually almost kills them, like literally physically, right?
Right.
So we talked a lot about more like emotional abuse or emotional breakdown or hurt, but there's also physical abuse that ends up happening. I just want people to know as well, whether love almost kills you through heartbreak and you're kind of going through the motions, but if you're in a relationship where it is unsafe, please get out and please
Right.
get the help. Please don't be ashamed. Please don't feel like you're alone. Please don't feel like, you're embarrassed or you feel like you can't tell anyone. As someone who has been in an abusive relationship before, and thank God I had people around me to say, Darcel, you need to get out. Really being mindful of that and making sure that you listen to the people that love you. Because sometimes love can really blind us, and love can really, like you said, almost kill us if we allow that. And we don't want any of our listeners to have to go through that. And just know that there's help. Like Jordan you saw advice from your parents, like your tribe. You went to therapy. Same thing for myself. I sought out my tribe and, went to therapy as well. So I just want all of our listeners to, just be mindful of that. If you're going through, you don't have to go through alone.
100%. That's so important. And you just got to remember that you have a heart and a brain, and
Yes.
you can't let your heart cloud your judgment at all. You got to be smart when it comes to what you're willing to compromise with and who you're letting into your life. That's like 100% important.
Absolutely. And nothing is worth your peace, your sanity, your livelihood. Nothing. No one on this earth is worth that, because someone should be coming to your life to add to your life versus take away from it.
Right.
So, yeah, so tell us, where can we get this book, because it sounds juicy and relatable. So tell us where we can get the book and how everybody can follow you.
So everyone can follow me. My Instagram account is an author named Jordan. So if you type it in, an author named Jordan, it'll pop up. I'm trying to force more people to my author page because
Yes.
everyone knows my main account. So you can go on there. Everything is in the bio in terms of where you could purchase the book. If you have Amazon Kindle, all you gotta do is just type my name in, everything will pop right up. Um, Also, my website is a world ran by clout. So like that's everything. You can go on my website and you can find it as well.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to drop it in the show notes for the podcast, YouTube, so that way everybody who wants to get the book can get the book. And I just thank you so, so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on this episode and just really sharing this new product, this new creation, this new chapter of your life. Yes, everybody get the book. Love Almost Kills Me. I can't wait to just start reading and highlighting and just sharing, with friends. And so, guys, I already ordered my book. So, y'all got to order yours. And I am just so grateful to you, Jordan. It's a full circle moment for us where we worked behind the cameras together. Now it's like being able to have you on the show. I'm just so, so grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm in your corner 100%. Whatever you need, you already know.
Yes, and same. So when book tours and everything starts popping, let your girl know. I will buy my ticket, okay? I will promote and all of that. So
Absolutely. I'm there. I'm with you 100%. Thank you for having me.
you're so welcome. And thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. Make sure to subscribe to Mogul Talk with Darcel Laurie everywhere on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thank you, guys. Until next time, peace.